What's up, good people? Happy Saturday afternoon. Hope everybody's having a great Saturday. The mailman, feel bad for that dude. We had a lot of rain that came through last night, and it was gone by about, 12. No, actually about 10 o'clock this morning it was gone. And so we have since dried up. The mailman, boy, he got sloshed. So as they say, neither rain, sleet, or snow will keep them from delivering the mail or whatever it is. And he definitely did. Me, on the other hand, I'm down here doing some work on the honeybee list. You know what's funny is no matter how many cabinets you have, they're always going to be full or filled by your significant other. That is a fact, because I have built a hell of a lot of cabinets in the kitchen here. My wife keeps buying more stuff, and she keeps buying more stuff, then there's no space to put all the stuff. In which case, I have to make more cabinets for all the stuff. So, that's what I'm doing. So, the mailman was talking, or has been talking the last couple of days, about Trey Lance, and that maybe it's time for the Trey Lance era. Now I'm going to be honest, I haven't heard the whole video, I haven't had a chance to, but there's a lot of talk and desire for Trey Lance to be the Cowboys quarterback, because then the Cowboys can save some money and they can go out and sign other players, which isn't necessarily, I might not agree with that idea, but it's not necessarily the dumbest idea. Personally, I think that you need a really good quarterback to succeed in the NFL, because we've seen teams that have been literally ready-made to win, like, say, the Rams. They were a really good team, and they needed a quarterback, so they went out and they got Matthew Stafford. And Matthew Stafford ended up being the final piece. But make no mistake about it, it wasn't that it was just the Matthew Stafford show, okay? They had a lot of great players. They had receivers. They had the running back. They had, the defense. They just needed somebody to put it all together. And typically, without somebody to put it together, it doesn't work. But you could look at it and say, well, maybe Trey Lance is the guy. The guy who's got 103 passes in the NFL. He could be the guy. I don't know. Or you could look at it and say, maybe he's not quite the guy just yet, but with some time and getting some more people, we can build for the future, and maybe he will be the guy. I don't know. You could look and say, I think I actually said it in a video before, when the Cowboys restructured that signing bonus and they ended up putting 2 more additional years, I believe, I'm not sure, but I believe that they could use that they could take the cap hit that they have right now, $40 million. I think they could spread that out, or maybe even kick most of it down the road, to give themselves cap relief next year, although I don't think they're going to necessarily need it so much, because they do have $93 million at the moment of space if they move on from Dak. And that's before they do anything with the other contracts. Now, it could be. It could be that that's the plan. Or it could be that the Cowboys are trying to cover their bases just in case. I think ultimately, as people say, and talking out of both sides of their neck. One, they're mad that the Cowboys are not signing people, and they think that this means that they are blowing it up. Or two, the other side of the equation is that we're not building people to be good next year. So I still believe that the Joneses don't want to go through a complete rebuild, because I think they look at this and say, we like at least being relevant and being in selling hope. Because even if you feel like you don't have a team that can win the Super Bowl, the Cowboys, it doesn't matter. You can't honestly look and say, any of the last 3 years, when you looked at the team from 2021, you saw you had problems on the defense. You really did. You didn't really have a back end. You can look at 2022, you started getting there, but you still had a lot of holes and stuff, and your running game started going downhill, especially in the playoffs. And your offensive line was in flux because you had lost Tyron Smith for most of the time. You were playing guys like Jason Peters, who, were literally on their last leg, and guys like Terrence Steele that were still, wet behind the ears, that your offensive line really wasn't there. And then you go through last year where you were playing better as far as the team, but you still had the problems of holes in your defense where you can't stop the run, and now you didn't really have the running game. So there's been areas where you look at and say, yeah, we're a good team, but we're not a complete team. And so I look at it like this. Are you closer to being a more complete team and being able to challenge for it? Or are you closer to the window being closed? I say you're actually closer to competing. Now, I've been the guy who's tried to be the optimistic one. If we really and truly get lucky with some of the young players we had from last year, because we have potential. We have potential here with some of the guys that didn't do anything last year. Mozzie Smith is his rookie year, and not that many players that get drafted. I think only 30% of the players that get drafted actually become good players. And most of them don't. It doesn't happen overnight. So Mozzie coming here, one, didn't get a lot of opportunities because of the rotation and things. And then, of course, the whole weight issue of him losing weight, now putting it back on. If that guy can step in like Hankins, if Sam Williams can step up like Dante Fowler or Dorrance Armstrong, you're not far away from where you were with the defensive line. And if you can add a few more pieces, granted, we all want the guys that we think are great. But the thing is, a lot of times the guys we think are great are players that have done great things, and they're not necessarily great anymore. We were so excited about Odell Beckham, Think about this. Odell Beckham went to a really good team, but yet Odell's numbers, they weren't great. He's under 500 yards again. But when you think of Odell, you think, oh my God, we got to get that guy. See, that's the thing. There's perception and there's reality. We have the perception of Trey Lance being great, but you're talking about taking somebody who has been really, really good, who's only been in a system 1 year. This year, you could see him have a monster season, especially if the Cowboys don't sign him to a contract. So my thing is this. If you're not going to sign Dak Prescott, that's fine. That's on you. But I can guarantee you that every time you have bet on Dak Prescott, Dak Prescott has showed up and showed off and made you realize, damn, I should have paid him before. And if you don't pay him, he's auditioning for his next club, and I can guarantee you he's going to make sure he looks good. Because if he becomes a free agent, and let's say he has another season like he just had, where he's an MVP candidate, and he's a free agent and uninjured, if Kirk Cousins could get 45 with a torn Achilles, yeah. So, yeah, go ahead. Don't sign Dak. He going to be okay. He going to be okay. And if he's ready for the Trey Lance era, so be it. So we'll see. It's the off season. You know, you got to have something to talk about. I saw an article yesterday. KJ Drummond was talking about the Cowboys. He just ignored the whole Trey Lance situation. He said the Cowboys that they should look at trading for Kyler Murray. So we'll talk about that later. All right, good people. I got myself another cabinet for the missus. She got the upper one yesterday. Now she's got the lower one to go in there to put more stuff in. Women always have a lot of stuff you got to deal with. All right, good people. I'm going to go put this in. And I got my vent thing for the laptop, so I got to go reorganize that. But I'll see you soon. Peace.